CONMEBOL South American World Cup qualifiers going on at the moment, and at half-time in the match between Ecuador and Peru, the game is 0-0. And I could tell you as well that Trinidad and Tobago are leading St. Kitts and Nevis by 1-0 after 48 minutes in their CONCACAF World Cup qualifier. St. Kitts, of course, already through to the second round, TNT eliminated regardless of what happens in today's fixture. We do have some cricket discussions to continue on, though, as we return. The England seamer Ollie Robinson has been suspended by the England-Wales Cricket Board, the ECB, amid an ongoing probe into racist and sexist tweets he sent in 2012 and 2013. Robinson, now 27 years old. These are the tweets he sent at age 18 or 19 that have landed him in trouble. Females who play video games actually tend to have more sex and be happier with their relationships than the girls who don't. He also said to Byron Gold, "My new Muslim friend is the bomb." And to his Muslim friends, or Byron Gold, Farby75 and Mrs. Gucci 100, wonder if Asian people put smileys like this. And you see the little emoji there with the straight Asian eyes, so that wasn't good. And he also says, "Not going to lie, a lot of girls need to learn the art of class. Hashtag get some." Okay, so the UK Secretary of State for Digital Culture, Media and Sport, Oliver Dowden, believes the ECB move is heavy-handed. Here's what he said. Olie Robinson's tweets were offensive and wrong. They are also a decade old and written by a teenager. The teenager is now a man and has rightly apologized. The ECB has gone over the top by suspending him, and they should think again.
Well, Dowden's comment has been supported by the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Meanwhile, the former England batsman Mark Ramprakash has also weighed in on the matter. This is what Ramprakash has said. "If I was Olie Robinson, I'm not sure I'd want Boris Johnson involved in trying to support me. I've heard people express sort of sympathy with Olie Robinson and say, hasn't he shown a lot of character? But I haven't heard enough about the victims or the people that these tweets are aimed at," said Ramprakash, the former England batsman. Yeah, so where do you stand on this?
Well, this is a tough one, to be honest. When these tweets were written 10 years ago, the sensitivity to racist and sexist comments were not at the level that they are now. The ECB has suspended him pending an investigation. Now, given today's world, I think I understand the ECB's position, because his tweets, albeit 10 years ago, if they were done now, would be harshly looked at. I want to make the point as well that I know people make mistakes, and he was a younger man at the time, but 18 years old is an adult. He was an adult. You know, we keep saying he was 18, but at 18 you can vote. So I think he has to face the responsibility of his actions. What I respect, though, is that he very promptly came out and apologized profusely for those tweets. Now, it could be argued that he apologized because he recognizes that at this stage of his career, if he doesn't do some damage control, it could harm his international career. So I think his apology was absolutely necessary. So I don't want to, heap praise and credit on him for that. And the ECB has to do something. And quite frankly, I am not sure what the investigations which they are carrying out will unfold. I hope, expect that they will not find anything overly treacherous in his behavioral patterns and so on, and the ban will be lifted, because I believe he's truly sorry. But I just think for the moment, the ECB has to say, wait a bit, we have to look at this. And he's suffering at the moment, but he did something that was wrong. So he faces the axe at the moment.
Question for you. In 2005, I was in my last year at university as an undergraduate student. What if a video emerged of me using expletives in an argument with an official from the School of Computing and Information Technology at UTech. So in that argument, we were arguing with each other over something. I was defending students' right to use a facility there, and he was telling me no, and I was saying whatever, and that was it. Would you support SportsMax suspending me for that and investigating the matter?
Well, the difference is in that situation,
Yes.
George, is that you did not publicly say something. That was an interaction.
No, I publicly said that. So it was in public, but it was recorded. That's the point I'm making. So
No, but it was an interaction in private. It was an interaction in a private space.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that in that interaction you were announcing something to the world.
So you're saying then that the difference is that Ollie Robinson was telling the world
Yes.
that
Yes.
Okay, so
there's a slight difference
for
there,
you, but I disagree. I think Ollie Robinson was talking to his friends on a social media site that goes to the world. You see, as you know, in court there's something called the mens rea and the actus reus. You're talking about you have to prove that Ollie Robinson's intention when sending the tweet was to tell the world through his friends that this was happening. I believe he was telling his friend on the social media side. The difficulty is in when you're proving the intent of somebody, you're trying to go into their mind to see what they're saying. A reason I use the example, which I believe is a fair equivalent, is this. That happened when I was doing something else, not contracted to SportsMax, having no relationship with SportsMax, not even knowing that I would end up working here several years later, and not knowing that I was ending up working here in a prominent capacity, because there are many people who work here who nobody sees on TV. They go to the grocery store, nobody knows them. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we are not of that kind. Wherever we go, people know us. So that's just the one thing. The point I'm making is this. The ECB, I believe, has no credible grounds to suspend the young man, especially because of his immediate contrition when the thing was brought to light in recent days. So it's not as if he was standing up for it and owning comments that we agree are unpalatable and unacceptable.
Yes. Yes.
We are agreeing that that is that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying the ECB has no right to suspend him given that it had no relationship with him at the time. And those tweets saw him talking to people who I believe are his friends. The next thing, Mark Ramprakash says the Prime Minister shouldn't get involved. Mark Ramprakash is looking for brownie points, being sanctimonious and shallow. The fact is, those people recognize the thing for what it is. The ECB has to do something because it wants to get campaigners off its back. People would say, oh, the ECB isn't upholding isn't upholding the rights of those who would usually be racially abused.
They have a responsibility too, though, George.
No. They have a responsibility where one of their players acts out of turn while he is a player. If this person before they knew they were going to play cricket for England did something, how are you going to punish them for it? How are you going to sanction them for it? How are you going to put them in the dock publicly for it?
It's the way of the world.
No, it's not the way of the world, but I'm saying it.
That's how sensitive these issues are.
And I'm saying the world is stupid. And I'm saying that this is capital foolishness from the ECB.
Yeah.
I wish we had more time.
Well, I'm just saying that they're saying pending investigations, and I believe that they will release the suspension, but I think they felt the need to act because of how egregious his comments were.